Hey guys, what it is yo girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. Hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before all face too bleak. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, guys, I'm coming through today. It is May the 31st, 2025. Happy to be alive, girl. Anyways, I am coming through with the third installment of Prison Wife questions that I gathered from Google. These were some really good questions. This is under the section of relationship dynamics. And today's question is relationships with people behind bars are meaningful but not fulfilling. Do you agree? Okay. So the first thing was I was looking up because I don't want to assume what fulfilling relationship means. So I am going to first read and then I will give my take on it. Remember, this is off the top of my head, and you know I struggle with staying on track, on focus, on topic. It's not the easiest thing for me to do because my mind, that's how my mind works. My mind is all over the place. So please forgive me, but I will attempt to answer the question. That's what I'm going to say. My attempted answering of the question. Okay, a fulfilling relationship is one characterized by trust, respect, and emotional security. Now, those things, trust, respect, and emotional security, you can get those from and then the question said, from people behind bars. You can get those things from someone that is incarcerated. And it's not every incarcerated citizen. So, first of all, not every incarcerated citizen is the same. They're not cookie cutter, just like people themselves are not all the same. So it truly depends on the person that and it's not because they're behind bars or they're not. It's that person. Do you have trust for that person? Does that person have trust for you? Because we are out in the free world. Now, there are many times where they know you're in the free world, so they feel like you can do whatever you want to do, which is true. We can, like, literally, what is binding us here? So they have to trust you. They be actually on them apps, girl, and they be in them little pen pal situations and stuff, and having different folks coming to visitations on this day, and you come on that day, girl. So you also have to have trust for them too, because prison ain't too much stopping nothing, right? Other things still happen. Some of them be with the little nurses up in there and so on and so forth. So you don't, or them guards. We done seen many. And then the guards want to get mad. That's too tight. As they come in, y'all know prison wives, they come in looking as though their uniform is body paint. Like, literally. Why do your uniform got to be that goddamn tight? That is not no stretchy material. But yet you want to keep us out with anything that kind of clings a little bit. Like, they are really critical of prison wives. But they come in with them skin painted on uniforms. Like, girl. So, trust. You have to have trust, because there are ways to break your trust while they're incarcerated. Respect. Now, respect is going to be more noticeable if a person respects you. If they respect your boundaries. That's a good one. I've had to work with boundaries because, baby, And it wasn't that I didn't have boundaries. I'm too quick, like, to forgive. And not saying that that's a bad thing, but people take that as a pass to do whatever thing. That's what that is. So, do they respect you? That's just my relationships within my life. Respect. I've seen a lot of people that don't really respect me or my time. My time is what I really need you to respect. And in these relationships, we're doing a lot of time. We're losing a lot of, not, I don't want to use losing, because if it's for the right person, you're not losing the time. The time is being utilized productively, because you're building other parts of your relationship. But I mean, like, are they respectful of your time? Do they realize you got a life going on out here while they living in there? Like, literally, in the two worlds are not colliding really, except for on visitation days. So are they respecting your time, your like, one thing that I noticed, time is not the same for the prison wife and the prisoner. It's like we're on two different, not like time zones, but maybe our lives is going on warp speed and their lives is on slow speed, because they're doing the same old mundane thing, right? Nothing different. Like, many times when we talk, I'm like, Marcello, tell me about your day. And he's like, why would you want to hear about my day? My day is the same day. I want to hear about your day. And I'm like, literally, my day is the same day out here too, because I just went to work, girl. That was it. I ain't got nothing done. That's my usual, daily synopsis. But time goes slower in there than out here. And it would be like, he would ask me to do something, and as soon as he calls back, he's like, did you do it yet? I'm like, in what world would I have done it that quickly? Like, literally, I ain't even got a chance to do this, that, and the other, and you talking about, did I do that? Like, girl. And many prison wives kind of get caught up in, basically, you're his personal assistant. As a prison wife, you play personal assistant, because you're the one reaching out. If you're reaching out to lawyers, if you're calling the facility because this didn't happen, that didn't happen, he got transferred, you got to track down his property. They always lose property during transfer. You got to call up here because this or that. You got to talk to my classification officer. And it's like, you already doing your life here and barely can keep up, but barely. So he has to respect that time, knowing that you have to maintain yourself. So for me, Marcello asked me, and I'd be like, I'm a try. I don't make no promises. I'm gonna try to do it. Then, cause he'll call right back thinking I've done it. Like, no, I have to live my own life out here as well. But if you get pushed back, like, if they be like, okay, well, I understand, I get it, I'll just try to, find other ways, or I'll just hold off until you get the chance, then they're respecting. But if they're like, kind of, mad about it, then that's a sign that they're not respecting you. The way they talk to you, are they talking to you with respect? So it can go back and forth, I believe, both ways. And emotional security. Now, I do think for prison wives, we do find emotional security in our loved ones behind bars. And I know it's more than just prison wives. It is family involved as well. Like, my daughter has a relationship with her father through bars. Our grandchildren have a relationship with their grandfather through bars. So and his siblings and stuff like that. So it's not just prison wife relationships. But I do tend to see that it seems like prisoners or incarcerated, well, from my perspective, have a little bit more they're more passionate about everything. They're more attentive to the little things because they're not distracted by the everyday societal things that we're distracted by. So they're able to pay attention as you're talking and being able to, hey, you mentioned this, did you ever complete that? Or, oh, you said you felt this about that, and you're like taken aback, like, you remember that, like that was so minute. But it's because their interaction with you, they're kind of living in that moment, being mindful. And sometimes we're not mindful because we're all over I know for myself, I'm all over the place. And it's very hard for me to be right here in this place because of being all over the place. So I do think that a lot of times there is more emotional security with them inside. Some women feel like, well, he's not going to, cheat on me because he is in prison. I would rather him be in prison and know where he at than him being out here. If it's that type of situation, prison is not going to keep him from doing whatever you want to do. Like I said, being in them bars don't stop too much or nothing. Like, for real, whatever life they lived on the street, they can, just as well live that life with them bars. So it's gonna boil down to, I don't know, sometimes I think they are more like passionate about stuff. They tend to love harder. They tend to use the most tenderest words or the most lovey-dovey words, and you're like, and I guess it's because they're incarcerated and they're able to maybe, well, it's that one person, because they can't release their emotions everywhere in there, like, for real. So when they do have that one person that they can release their emotions to, I do think that they go hard, like, for real. Okay. A fulfilling relationship is one characterized by trust, respect, emotional security, where each partner feels valued, heard, and authentically themselves. So within a prison wife relationship, or with your loved one that's incarcerated, I don't think you could be anything other than yourself, unless it's like this blind meeting situation and you're pretending to be this person until y'all actually meet in person or whatever. Because I do know that a lot of prison wives, they meet their incarcerated loved one while they are doing time. So there's something, prison wives, we always want to separate and group ourselves off. That's people, period. We always want to group. So those that met before prison and those that met while incarcerated. And when you met someone while incarcerated, you do sometimes run the risk of they're presenting to you their best person. I used to watch Lee Hammock, The Self-Aware Narcissist. Oh my gosh, I love him. Narcissistic abuse is something I dealt with heavily in my life from many different sources. And he's like, the way he explains it is when you meet somebody, now I'm just giving this example, but this is within narcissism, but any relationship where you're just meeting the person, the person's going to be on they best behavior. And he says you're meeting the person's representative. You're not really meeting that person at first. So when you first meet, when they're perfect, they're doing all the right things, that's not truly them. That's their representative. And then later, when they get comfortable with you, they start to reveal. And like he says, the mask starts to fall. And you're like, wait, hold on. You ain't who I met. So, in those situations, sometimes the incarcerated citizen can keep up that mask until, I don't know, because it depends on the distance and the time and how often y'all are communicating. Could they keep that mask intact? So I don't know. It could be that you're not, with the real person because they're incarcerated at the moment. If that made any sense, I'm sorry. I may not have communicated my thought fully. Okay, but it said authentically themselves. I do believe Marcello is being himself, but they also have, besides that, they have to keep this hard exterior, like this hard shell, turtle shell, like Ninja Turtle shell on them. So a lot of times they cannot, you can't get to their real emotion. You can't get to how they really feel. They can't really break down because let me let this window down. I'm getting hot. Because the environment that they're in is not really, it doesn't work well. Like being emotional in that environment is not going to be, it's hard for them to do that time while they're on an emotional roller coaster. So you may not be getting the real authentic feelings from them while they're incarcerated. Sometimes they do express themselves more. I've seen that where an incarcerated citizen will express themselves more through a letter or an email than they will on a phone call. Definitely not on a phone call. You're not getting the full version of them a lot of times because they know those calls are recorded and they know that people are listening in, and they don't want to be like completely vulnerable because they literally have to look the same people in their faces after, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you will get this representative person because of that. Okay, fostering deep connection, which you could, but the couple, has to work at that. A lot of deep connection is with time and stuff. It's like it's something, it's not really, it's hard with this situation, but it's not to say that it cannot happen, right? Building a strong bond built on shared experience and mutual support. So they may be able to support you mentally. You support them mentally. A lot of times we're supporting them financially, but they can't support financially back. So that may not be as mutual. And then that causes, money is a situation that in free relationships causes problems. So within an incarcerated relationship, it really could cause problems because the burden, like being without money, causes a lot of situations. It causes anxiety. It causes you to not really know, what your next move is because you don't have the money to do so. So you most likely in the relationship are going to be the financial person, like the breadwinner of the relationship. And a lot of times that's a switch of dynamics because usually, just like with my case, my husband was, before he was incarcerated wrongfully, he was the one paying for daycare, paying for hospital bills, paying for this, paying for that. And then when he was snatched, it was all thrown. The tables were turned, the roles were reversed, and I became everything. And that does take a toll on you. And then in turn, you could, kind of feel a certain way towards them because it's like, literally, if you were here, like, come on. So I don't know. Really, incarceration is going to add a burden to the relationship. It's just, is the relationship strong enough to bear that burden? Okay, trust and respect, emotional security, open communication, emotional intimacy. Ain't no intimacy. Well, depends on where you're at. Florida Ain't no conjugal visits. Ain't no, you can't even touch them too much. Can't hug them too much. Can't kiss them too much. Depend on what camp they're at or whatever. Some camps don't give two goddamns. Some do. Some are like drill sergeant camps or whatever. So it depends. So it's not a lot of physical like touching, which is a part of a relationship most times. So how intimate, you can try to get intimate emotionally, but it's like because of those barriers, it's harder. You got to find some type of creative way to still have that emotional intimacy. And like I said, a lot of times they're suppressing that side of themselves, which, how is it once they suppress that for so long? Like, do they feel like once they just get out all of their emotions, they can just cut back on? Or are they going to then be conditioned? Because many people are, what do you call that? What do you call that when you've been in prison a lot? Institutionalized. I do think Marcello shows signs of being institutionalized. I know he wants to shun that and say he's not, but it's a few telltale signs, which when they do get out, they still, like, you still, if you're with them, gonna have to deal with that because they're trying to transition back, and you don't leave behind all that baggage once you leave prison. That comes with you, so it's gonna take work to get over it. So are they gonna go just back to emotionally available? Like, I don't know. It's hard to, it's just everything. A regular relationship, it's like a regular relationship, but it's an extra burden. Like I said, the weight, when you lift weight, you lift weights and add them in segments. So it's the regular weightlifting of a relationship. But then when you add on the extra pounds of being incarcerated, whether wrongfully or rightfully, it becomes more challenging. And a lot of times what does level it out is those intimate moments or physical moments, but you lack that. So you have to enhance the relationship on other sides because that side is not available now. Like, I don't know. Anyways, don't know if any of that made any sense, but I was answering the question, do I agree? Okay, relationships with people behind bars are meaningful. I do agree to that, but not fulfilling. I don't know if I agree to not fulfilling. They probably, if I'm going to have to say, they fulfill to a certain extent. Fully fulfilling, no, because there's barriers. There's just like, I wanted more kids. I cannot have more kids because I probably still can have more kids, girl. I ain't even tried using the baby making factory in a long time, girl. It probably still, but because of being with him and being exclusively with him and waiting for him to come home, not just sitting down waiting, I mean actively waiting, fighting, advocating, bettering myself, my children, my grandchildren, that's my grandchildren and my child together, so that's children's. Bettering us and trying to get up on our feet so when he comes back, it's not such a struggle. We can just, try to, you can't pick up where you left off because we are way past 2002 when he was wrongfully convicted. But like, I don't have that just because of this situation. Now, I'm finding it, like they say, God doesn't always give you what you want the way you want it. I feel like I'm getting my kids through grandchildren, right? My grandchildren, those are my babies. My niece and nephew, every baby I come across is my baby, girl. But yeah, so that wasn't fulfilled in my life due to my husband being incarcerated. And it's other things that you may have wanted to do. If I wanted to leave Florida, how could I ever really leave Florida knowing he's still incarcerated and we're together, right? Like, so that's kind of keeping me bound in location until he can get out. But then when he gets out, a lot of times they can't just move from where they are. I know he says he wants to get the jail up out of Florida, but upon being released, like, I don't think Marcello will ever be off of probation. I don't think he'll ever be off, because he has 40 years conviction, but then after that you're still incarcerated through, and that could be violated easily, like literally, and then you have to pay all that money. Like, how's he? That's what a lot of Danny Collins had did this workshop where he was showing the difficulties of people getting out of jail and in prison, and how hard it is, like literally just trying to get ID, trying to get a bus pass, trying to get to their probation officer. Oh, they violated probation because of this, they don't have the payment, they don't, like showing all the different things. Like, he literally had us go and play it like he had the probation officer set up. He had the if I could find it, I had Money do it. They would have you go to the DMV. You don't have the right documents. It was like role playing. So you would visit each station and you had a check off thing. And people were like, wow, I didn't realize it was that difficult for someone getting out of jail or prison. So, yeah, so I don't know what he's going to go through when he gets out. I know it's not going to be the easiest thing. And sometimes, people are blessed and have an easy transition back into freedom. I don't like to call it freedom because, girl, I would feel totally free if this was truly freedom. But, girl, there's levels to freedom. But, yeah, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead on. Got that workshop waiting on me in a couple of hours, which causes my freedom levels to go down, right? Can't do this because I gotta go to work, bound by work. Instead of bars, I'm bound by work. All right, guys, hope that made some type of sense. I will talk to you later. Hiss your girl Cadillac.